loss. My skin was changing colors and texture, and I was almost feeling like my skin was like sandpaperish. And someone told me that I had an elderly lady saw me, and she says, "Oh, you have something I haven't seen in a long time." And I'm like, "What does she mean I have something she hasn't seen in a long time?" And she said my skin looked like I had scarlet fever, and she hadn't seen that since like the 50s. So that's kind of how it started for me. Just little subtle, then big changes. And then after that, I started noticing things like my teeth were hurting, my bones were like achy so bad. Summer of 2015, I was walking with a cane. I mean, I was literally feeling like I was a 90-year-old lady, and no one could tell me why. And so, with me trying to get myself well and basically going to I mean, I must have went to 20 different doctors. No one thought to test my blood levels. They were testing me for thyroid. I mean, all these big names. No one thought to just do a simple lead test. But who would have guessed, you know? So while I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with myself and get myself back healthy, then I start noticing my daughter behavioral changes. I mean, like literally overnight. It was like, who is this kid? This is not the same kid that was here yesterday. Then she started like withdrawing, not really talking. When she would talk, it would be so snappy. It's like, why are you talking to me, mom, kind of thing. And so it was just like weird. I was like, what's going on here? Something's not right, you know. And over the news, you know, the mayor was, at the time, Dane Wiley, was drinking water on TV, saying the water was fine. And I personally saw my water at my home, and it was like army green. One day I ran the bath, and the whole tub, I just like freaked out. It was like a scary movie. And I'm like, something's wrong, you know. And I was calling the water department. They were saying, oh, the water is this color because we're flushing the pipes, and this is something we do in the summers, and kind of just showing us off. I would call like once a week, like, something's wrong with my water. It tastes funny and it's looking funny. And it was weird because it wasn't like my whole house. It was like one bathroom had this colored water, and my kitchen sink had this colored water. But the other bathrooms were coming out clear. It was so strange because it wasn't my entire house. But eventually, the entire house became discolored. But in the beginning, it was like one or two rooms where there was water. And so, you know, for me, it really took a toll. I lost my job. My FMLA ran out because they were unable to figure out what was wrong with me. My daughter had to be taken out of Catholic school because I could no longer afford it. It was just so many, you know, domino effect things that people wouldn't even think about that your water would cause, you know. Of course, Governor Snyder, because he's the governor, you know. It doesn't go any higher in the state than the governor. So, of course, he needs to be held accountable because people were telling him that it was something wrong, and he kind of, I guess those emails went to his spam, you know. So, of course, you know, the buck stops with the governor, but underneath the governor, there's some responsibility too, because you had all these supposedly smart people, you know, all these people that worked at the water plant, all these people that worked for the EPA, and they kind of knew something was going on, but they didn't come out to the public and say, hey, even if they weren't positively sure, I think there should have been some kind of announcement like, look, we're checking into this water. The tests are coming back funny, whatever. I think there should have been a flag up to the community, like, you know, then it would have been our choice to continue using the water or not. So I definitely have a list of about 10 people, I think, that had the authority to say something, even though the governor was not saying anything. I think there was a laundry list of people who could have simply shot out an email, and they didn't. It's like everyone kept it a secret in the state capitol, and some on the local level as well. When I started going to state-owned buildings and seeing water dispensers, but you guys are on TV saying that our water is fine, and when you call 211, they're saying the water is fine, and when you call the Flint water plant, they're saying the water is fine. But I go into the state of Michigan building right here in downtown Flint, and the state employees have water dispensers. Well, why do they have water dispensers if the water is fine? So there was an opportunity for someone to be a hero, and no one took that opportunity. I don't think there is a permanent solution. I think even if we twinkle our nose and wake up tomorrow and all the pipes are replaced, we still have a major, not just pipes, but we have an infrastructure problem from the actual water plants. And the Great Lakes. Our Great Lakes are contaminated. So I just don't see it. You know, replacing the pipes may fix it for 10 or 15 years, but then it's going to be another cycle of this. Because our water and our soil, once your soil is contaminated, just think the pipes are under the soil. So whatever in the soil is going to eventually go down right back into the pipes again. And how do you replace the soil? I lost my job and I have a young child. It made me dive right in. You know, immediately I called her school and was like, do you guys have bottled water? That's where it first started, you know, and then after that, it was like at church, you know, I would bring in 5 or 10 cases of water. This is before they start giving out water. So I dove right in immediately. And then when I started finding out about different groups meeting, and I started going to city council meetings, I definitely became just like a little mommy activist. I was just everywhere. Wherever there was something going on had to do with the water situation, I would make it my business to be there. Even though I may just be sitting in the back of the room listening, I wanted to be informed. I wanted to not only be informed, but I wanted to be a part of the solution, if there was a solution.